steps you would take to increase student awareness of the Student Advocate's Office, especially with regard to evolving sexual violence and harassment reporting and investigation protocols?
Sure. So this past year, we've increased our presence on Facebook as well as talking to students through the ASUC Senate and through individual contact with students. In order to continue on that trend, I would definitely keep our presence on Facebook. I would start investing in ads, making sure that students are aware of our presence on this campus. I would continue our trend of sending out infographics so students, first of all, are aware of the issues on campus surrounding sexual violence. I would further start sending out information on resources. So we recently hired a survivor advocate. This is new this year. A lot of students still don't know the wonderful sources she provides, so I would definitely be spreading out information about her. I would continue spreading information about specifically what the processes are for students, whether they're reporting, whether they just want mental health assistance, whether they want physical assistance, whether they want us representing them in their processes. That would also be tailored to students who are respondents and who need assistance and representation in their conduct processes. And I would be sure to also reach out to specific communities. So we've already started reaching out to the Greek community. We've been giving them presentations about policy and procedures and resources. We're now going to be reaching out to athletics. We're hoping to reach out to co-ops as well. So I'd be targeting these communities. I'd hopefully even start writing things like op-eds, start posting on various social media, and continue to spread the information about resources, statistics, UC-wide level policy projects and initiatives.
One way I would do that, or the main way I would do that, would be to build the new student movement, because survivors have the right to know that they have the right to publicly name their rapist. And one way we're going to build a mass movement is by finding those students who want to fight publicly, and that's how we're going to make a lot of awareness. Like, I'm not interested in like making policy. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to build the student movement to fight racism and sexism on this campus, because that is how we're actually going to bring around change. We need to take direct action, not talk about these issues anymore. We already know they exist. We need to actually do something and take action. So that's how I'm going to create awareness.
So the next question, Bianca, you'll answer it first. And again, it's the same question for both of you. Are there any parts of the current conduct or grievance procedures in the Student Advocate's Office that you believe still need improvement? If so, how are you going to implement the changes you see necessary? Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I have a lot of grievances with the policies. I mean, like, they're in place, but do they really protect us? They haven't been protecting us. We need to take direct action. And the way we're actually going to make those policies real is by organizing students, using the Student Advocate's Office to organize a mass student movement. We need to fight racism and sexism once again. The only way we're going to do that is by turning the Student Advocate's Office into a real advocacy center that is focused on actually making real change and not, once again, making policies and taking climate surveys, because these issues are already obvious to a lot of us on this campus. We're not blind to these issues. A lot of us want to fight. Ferguson has shown us a lot of people in our society want to fight. Nationally, we know this is an issue. A lot of students nationally want to fight, and we're Berkeley. We have the history of starting that student movement, making it real, and that's what we're going to do. If you vote, yeah.
So the question was, are there any parts of the current conduct or grievance procedures in the Student Advocate's Office that you believe still need improvement? If so, how are you going to implement the changes you see necessary?
So the grievance and conduct procedures are actually university procedures. They don't come from within the Student Advocate's Office. In regards to the grievance procedure, I actually was concerned with the state of it as it is now, and so I spent the entirety of my sophomore year assisting and rewriting it at an administrative level. I was the undergraduate student representative. I got a lot of changes from the student perspective. We produced an entirely new document that was significantly better, significantly more student-friendly. It passed through the university's processes. It's currently at the UC Office of the President awaiting their approval. For conduct specifically related to sexual violence, I think the current process for adjudication that we have is not trauma-informed, and it's in fact very traumatizing. I would take out the ability for students to cross-examine one another and further cause trauma. I would make the investigation process more streamlined by tying in Title IX more than they are right now, and leaving sanctioning strictly to conduct. And I would also want to make sure that they abide by the timelines that they have in place, because frequently they fall outside of those timelines and have very random reasons to extend their timelines and don't actually stick to their own code. And finally, I would ensure that advisors have a stronger chance to talk during these hearings for students, because at the moment they're being shut out. They're not being allowed to talk for students, and a lot of students are unable to actually express their side of the story on both sides, whether they're respondent or complainant.
Okay, thank you both. So